more than $8 billion a year to maintain the roads those cars drive on. Much of that cost is paid from money collected here at the pump.
Oh boy, you guys are gonna be ticked about this one. My buddy Adam did a video the other day and I watched it and I'm like, I gotta share this with the community because this is how it starts.
Caltrans says with more people driving electric vehicles, fewer people are buying gas and gas tax revenues are plummeting. So now the state is looking at new ways to pay for road maintenance.
Don't suppose this is only for the people that are driving the EVs. Right? Now, I'm not totally against EVs. I've got e-bikes that are great because I can charge them up by the sun. And I get all that. Now, the part when they say save the environment because that's what they're made for, well, anyone that's done their research knows that it fixes one thing and hurts another. But the big thing you guys need to know about is you're gonna be paying a little bit more. We're talking about charging drivers by the mile. More information that you guys need to know that's coming down the pipe, coming right up. My name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. If you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most of all, news and awareness, stuff that you want to know about, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. So seriously, guys, this is really happening, and for some of us, we could have said a long time ago, we saw the writing on the wall, right? Because heads on a swivel, eyes wide open, we're not walking around with our blinders on. Anyway, my buddy Adam, he has a YouTube channel as well, good buddy of mine, Snyder Reports. I saw this on his channel the other day, and then I saw how much traction this was getting, and I'm like, I better let y'all know.
The federal government has been pushing electric vehicles so hard over the past handful of years that now states have decided they cannot only tax gas purchases. Now they're considering taxing per mile. This is a huge change. I want to explain what's going on, which state is currently in the process of running a pilot program this summer, but why many other states are looking at the results from this pilot program and considering themselves to increase the taxes or change to tax per mile.
So yeah, we're going to show you what states those are so you know if this state that you've been currently living in is headed down the direction of where you're gonna feel restricted even however far you drive. How would it make you feel that not only you're already spending money on gas or the electricity to charge your car, but now you can only drive so far or it's gonna cost you a lot more money? How would that make you feel? And put down in the comments if you guys saw this coming a mile away back in the day. And again, if you guys find value in this information, please hit the thumbs up button and consider sharing so more people are aware of what's really going on. So a lot of the complaint out there is you got the gas drivers, you got the people already spending money on gas tax, and they're like, hey, hold up. Wait a minute, these guys over here in the EVs, they pay like what, $100 a year, and they're not paying gas taxes. They're not paying all the extra money to go into the road repairs that we never see. Meanwhile, the tax dollars that were expected, that were supposed to fix the roads, well, they're seeing a lot less money. Are you guys aware of what your current tax rate is for your state? Adam does a good job at explaining. Let's have Adam show us.
It's gonna pay, $1,000 in gas taxes at least. Just look at this, okay? This will give you an idea. Right here, this is the gas tax price per state. Washington State, it's 49 cents. In Oregon, it's 38 cents. In California, it's 54. Right? In Texas, it's 20 cents. Florida, 32. New York, 18. You kind of get the idea. Over here in Illinois, 42 cents. So you can kind of see where they're at. But here's the thing you need to keep in mind. That many people aren't against changing the way we are taxed, but to make it where it's fair. That's what they're discussing. Because one of the things that Congress has been pushing for over the past, several years is to have a fair tax so that the billionaires, the millionaires are paying their fair share of taxes. Well, this is exactly what many people are saying, especially the lower incomes, households as well. That why are we not seeing that people that drive electric vehicles and hybrids, how come they are not paying their fair share in taxes when it comes to fixing our roads?
So not only will we have the gas taxes, but now we're going to have possibly a per mile tax added on top of there. And who here really thinks that the rich people pay those anyway? So far, what I've noticed is if you're very wealthy, you know how to get around paying the taxes. But we'll see. What you guys need to know is what's going on in California right now because they're piloting the program and all the states are watching to find out if there's some good money to be made here. And this is exactly where it's headed.
With more than 30 million registered passenger vehicles in California, the state says it shells out more than $8 billion a year to maintain the roads those cars drive on. Much of that cost is paid from money collected here at the pump from gas taxes. But because so many Californians now own electric vehicles, the gas tax money is starting to dry up.
Potentially 10 years from now, we'll see a $4.4 billion loss in revenue because of these issues.
Which is why Caltrans wants to instead charge drivers per mile and is now enrolling people in a 6-month pilot program to test out the concept.
First of all, who would sign up for that? Let's see, we're gonna charge you 3 cents a mile. You just wanna be part of this little program. We can give you $400 at the end of the program, but what we're trying to do is to find out if we make a lot of money taxing everybody more than they're already taxed. Sure, coach, sign me up. Let's charge the crap out of more people. Good old California, right? Always leading the way.
What's unique about this pilot is this time we'll be collecting actual revenue from participants.
So why would you participate in a program that charges you about 3 cents for every mile you drive? Caltrans says it will waive gas tax fees and give participants up to $400. Drivers would track their miles by taking a photo of their odometer or using a transponder placed in their car. But some have big concerns about being tracked.
So there you go, some more monitoring, some more tracking you probably. How would you guys feel? Not only do you gotta pay the 3 cents per mile in this little test, but we're gonna go ahead and put this little transceiver thing in your car. How do you think people are feeling about that?
I would not be happy with that, especially putting a device in my car. I think that's also invasive.
Any data that's shared is totally at the control of the participant. They choose how much data. The data is processed by our account manager, and it does not come to Caltrans. All that Caltrans would see is the number of miles. It's not going to ever see any of your location information.
We're at a day and age where I don't know if we buy that. Do you guys buy that? We got cell phones. Most of us have cell phones that we walk around with. We can turn off all the tracking. We can turn off this. We can turn off that. But do you really think that everything's off? I highly doubt it.
Dominic Fletcher drives an electric vehicle and is not happy the state is considering charging by mile.
I would be very upset because I think it just kind of retracts the incentive that they were trying to get people to purchase electrical vehicles.
She says she'd like to pump the brakes on the road charge program.
I won't be signing up for that. And yeah, I mean, that was the whole idea when you were gonna jump into the electric vehicle. It was to save money, it was to be smart, better on the environment, all the stuff they sold about it, right? Well, now someone's not getting a cut of the pie, so maybe they should go to the battery source, maybe they should go to the power companies that are probably raking in a lot of dough. Somebody's paying for all the power that it takes to charge these things. But no, they're gonna stick it to us, all of us. So the big takeaway question is, because the people driving EVs not having to pay the road tax, the gas tax that we all pay, now we're all gonna get an extra per mile taxing to take care of the deficiency in that department. Is it fair? If that's how it goes down, is that fair that we all just, now we got to limit how far we can go? Because the takeaway is that California is piloting this. All the states are watching California, and if it looks like a pretty good program, which means it's bringing in some money, guess what? It's going to be adopted probably by all of those ones that showed up in red that have the highest gas tax. Another thing that Adam found was something else going on in California that could be potentially coming down the pipe as well. Check this out.
Here's the other thing you need to understand regarding California. California has a secret 50-cent gas tax that's coming in the next 2 years. Now, this gas tax, I want to just explain kind of what this is. It says in September, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, the state's primary environmental regulator, reported gas prices will rise next year by about 50 cents a gallon and every year thereafter to aid in clean air efforts. Keep in mind, this does not include the current state taxes. That 50-cent increase would go on top of the 54 cents they're currently paying today.
50 cents on top of what they're already paying, possibly on top of the mileage tax, because the money you spend is going to help clean the air? Is that the question? Is that what's really going on here? Another thing, other states are going to be looking at. You guys got to remember, California is always leading the way on this craziness. The stuff that we find crazy, a lot of us. And when they start doing this crazy stuff, we got to pay attention, because that's probably what we're going to be facing, whether we live in California, Washington, New York, or wherever.
The reason for this is they just want to make sure that they have clean air, right? Less pollution. That's it. Now, as more states decide to adopt what California is doing, because California is running this pilot program this year, they're going to determine whether or not it's a good idea to tax the drivers by the mile as opposed to taxing them by per gallon used. I want to show you something else. There was a recent survey done. It says Americans show more support for fuel tax increase than mileage fee.
So now that's really interesting. People would rather pay a one flat fee than pay a per mile amount. How do you guys feel about that? Write it down in the comments down below. Would you rather get charged by the mile or by just a percentage of the tax that you, or the gas that you buy? Because what he goes on to say is that the people that even vote for the flat fee versus the mileage are people that don't even put very many miles on their car. But what it doesn't govern the distance that you can go or that you could afford. And I think a lot of us would agree with that. Just less power is better. A lot of us would say they already have way too much power. We don't need to give them the power of how far we can go, or it's going to cost us more. Again, another thing coming down the pipe, I just wanted to get this out there, get it on your guys' feelers so you're aware, and you can share this information out, because they like to slip this stuff under the rug when we're not looking, and then before you know it, it's passed and we're dealing with it. Again, like button and share this if you guys find value. If you missed these two videos right here, really good videos, keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you on the next one.